Morning all. This is who I call the morning breakfast crew. It's for those of you who aren't Australian, my subscribers overseas and whatever, they're called rainbow Lowrance kids. It's actually cute bloody birds, but they're noisy as. And they're here every morning waiting for their literally their milk and honey. And this terrorist down here, the big fella, that's called a bush turkey. Those two are my new chickens. They're Plymouth Rocks, so only pretty young at this stage. But that one there stealing their food is called a bush turkey. They're a native Australian bird. Here comes another one of his mates there. They come and terrorise the chooks every morning and flog their food until I unleash the beast. Touchy! This will be fun, watch this. Touchy! Get him! 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 Go! Go, son! That's what I'm talking about right there. Anyway. Morning everyone, welcome to another episode of Hot Water. Alright, you did your job, come back. Good dog. So, for the locals, you'll know it's been weeks and weeks of rain for those guys overseas watching. Yeah, so where I am in Australia at the moment, we are in the middle of flooding at the moment. We have just day after day of rain non-stop. So, wild ocean, so that's pretty much shut down all the fishing, which is pretty unusual. Normally there's somewhere you can go and do something and catch a fish somewhere, but at the moment it's really slim pickings. The freshwater shut down, the rivers are all flooded, the ocean's just brown as, and the seas are too high. Even if you wanted to launch a kite, you probably couldn't do it. So I'm reduced to one fish. I shouldn't say reduced because they are actually a classic Australian fish, this one. I'm going to have a shot at it today, see if I can get one and show you guys. It's called a ludric these days. It used to be called a blackfish back in the old days, and in the old days it used to be called something else starting with N, which you're not even allowed to say, even in jest anymore. Otherwise a big mechanical arm will come out, and I assume from the left, get it, left wing of politics where the socialist people are, will come and extract you from society and forever remove you for saying that word. So it's called a ludric. What I'm going to first do is make sure the dog didn't miss the bush turkey and grab a chook instead. After that, I'm just going to go down to the beach. I'll take you guys with me. I'm going to get what they eat. Now, they're a vegetarian fish primarily. They do eat crustaceans every now and then, prawns and what have you, but their staple diet is called sea lettuce, or cabbage as we call it. You can get it down here on the rocks. Hopefully the swell's not too big and I can actually get a shot at getting some. Grab a handful of that. And there's a special technique you have to use to get ludric, but a day like today is perfect for them. So we'll go and give it a try. Nothing better to do except go fishing. All right, let's go down the beach. Righto, she's pretty wild and woolly out there, like I said. Just going down my local track here to the beach, and you can see the ocean. Not much chance of getting out there in any kind of craft today, let alone a bloody kayak. Some days even I won't go. Kind of, I mean, look, this is an indication of the rain that we've been having. I mean, this is not normally here, but it's like a little creek at the moment. It's coming down off the headland and onto the beach. Been pretty much a week straight of that. So the problem with pelagics, or problem for pelagics, is that will brown it all up. If I go this way, you'll see what I'm talking about. So this is all fresh runoff from the rain. It's been a nice little creek here, well, which is never normally there. Sort of cut its way out, get in the ocean, and then that's the sea at the moment. I mean, have a look at that. You'd have to be a little bit unhinged to try and paddle out in that today. So that right there is where I would usually get my weed. It's kind of under that water line, hanging on the rocks. Clearly today I ain't getting it from there. Alright guys, so I've changed locations and I've found some weed. Just give me a good of the two different types. So that's sea lettuce or cabbage, and that one's actually hair. Right, g'day guys. Now, we're down where the Blackfish roam, hopefully. You'll notice I'm down the local marina and professional prawn trawling boats everywhere and what have you. Looks like a bit of an unlikely place to catch fish, but this is where they will be. As I said before, big flood event on at the moment, massive seas outside, which is just on the other side of the breakwall there. Everything's all turned up. Quite often find when conditions are like that, blackfish will come into creeks and rivers and harbours and take some refuge around walls and pile lines, all this kind of stuff. So usually the way it works is that they should be here. So we'll have a look. Now I just want to talk through some tackle. The type of floats I like to use are called quill floats. You can use any other type of float really. General rule is that the rougher the conditions, the bigger the float you would use. So we've got two here. I'm going to fish in calm water situation here, so I'm going to go with the small size quill. But if I was fishing on the other side of the wall where there's a bit of water movement, probably go the larger one. We've got a bigger float yet. So just bear that in mind. The other essentials you'll need, float stoppers. I bought these ones so you can see that you can buy them from shops or what have you. But you can just actually just tie off a bit of wool or what have you to stop your float from running up and down. All that achieves is you'll see on the quill here you've got two runners. So if you don't put a stopper on your line, the quill's just going to keep going till your sinker hits the bottom, and then it's not going to work as a float. You will need just a couple of different size split shot sinkers. I say you need a couple of different size ones. There's some big ones that I've also got. You need a couple of different sizes because you want to get your float sitting at a pretty optimum depth. So because it's calm water here, I want as little sensitivity as I can possibly get. So I want about probably that much tip sticking out of the water. And then one of the big key things in terminal tackle for blackfish is your hooks. So I've gone here with a very, very small green, as it turns out, Gamakatsu chemically sharpened hook. Blackfish have very small mouths, they're very sensitive feeders, so you want as small a hook as possible. Righto, let's get into this. Rig up, I'll show you how we rig up. Bloody remind me of some of the bloody earrings that the missus wears. Shit, I just dropped them. First cab off the rank obviously is we put on our float stopper. So now I put the float stopper on, and I can move that. It's quite firm on there, which is how I want it. And I can move that. I think I'm in about probably 3-4 metres of depth here. So the blackfish this time of day will be sort of down deeper, so I want to be getting this down. If it's about 3 metres, I want about 2.5. So I'll sort of work that out just in my head, and I'll put my float stopper on. But I'll just keep it there for now whilst I rig up. Next I just put on the small quill, like I said. Find the hole, Robert, find the hole. As the missus is always telling me, say that. Right, so then you'll see the effect of the float stop there. It stops the float from going any further up the line. Next I put the hook on, which makes it strange because you'd think the lead goes next, but I actually put that on just so I stop the hook going, the float going the other way whilst I'm putting sinkers on and stuff and just falling off. Do it whatever way you like, really. In terms of line size, I'm using mono on this occasion and I'm using 8 pound. I prefer to probably be using 4 or 6. I've just grabbed my cod rod, so light as line as possible for blackfish. You'll see that's why the old timers use the long whippy rods, because they're only fishing 4 pound line. So they want to compensate a lot for that light line in the flexibility of the rod. They use the old centerpin reels. Sadly, it's a bit of a dying art, blackfishing. When I was a young bloke, I'd come down here after school and there'd be dozens or so old timers lined up down here. Some of them having absolute celebrity status for their ability to extract blackfish from here. And, it's a sign of the times that they're all gone these days. Good bunch of blokes they all were. Rightio. So now what I want to do is just test this float, make sure I get it sitting right. So I'll drop my ball sinkers down the rocks where I cannot retrieve them. Luckily I saved one. So I'll show you this, hang on. You want to be at that much distance between your first ball and your hook. So what I'm going to do, just flick this out first, just check the depth. Not depth, sorry, just check the sensitivity on that float, see where she's sitting. Next thing I want to do before I start fishing bird blackfish is you'll see here I've just got some damp sand I've just grabbed off the beach before I came down to the spot. And I'm just sort of ripping up some of the cavies that I got. Now I'll mix that in. Blackfish respond quite well to burley. So you're mixing the weed in with the sand, and what I do, not fall over, is I'll just throw it out, like so, just in the general area where I want to fish. You see the, it's really quite hard to see actually, but you'll see the float stop is now moving towards the float. Once it hits, like that, trying to stand up as it has. Hopefully you can see that out there. Get another bite there. Hopefully you can see that float's just gone under there. Something's having a bit, so I'm going to let him eat a bit longer this one. There we go. There we go. There we go. Not a bad fish. Go on. Not a bad fish. Oh, he doesn't realise he's hooked, I think. Come on, mate. And that, guys, is a ludwig or a blackfish. Let me do that first before I start talking too soon, like I always seem to do. Anyway, there you go. And a little fish right there. Very good fun. And it really is quite an art form trying to catch them. There you go. Hey, little fella, a blackfish. You see that small mouth I'm talking about there, and small hook that you got to use to get them. But they're beautifully coloured fish. Quite good eating, you got to bleed them and stuff like that. We'll let this fella go. Whoop. There you have it. Who said you can't have fun when it's a float on? Get away. There you go. Yeah. All right, there's a couple here. No, you ate it. Okay. Just they're a bit fitting and hard to hook sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, started getting bigger. Yeah, he's alright, that one. Nah, I just like catching them. Lifting me up now. Got it. There we go. This is what I'm talking about, really watching your float. Normally, you think the blackfish is going to pull it under. Not all the time. That time the float came up, starting to lie on the surface. That means he's lifting the bait up. It's also a good sign that he's also felt the weight of the sinker, so he's pretty much got it in his mouth good. There you go. Again, not a huge blackfish. They go a bit bigger than this, but good fun. Like I said, they can really teach you a lot about how to be a better fisherman. There you go. I think what's good is, apologies for the philosophy, but I honestly haven't done this since I was a young bloke. And to be able to come down, you can still feel the presence of the old timers that we used to so revere when we were little fellas, because they could just pull blackfish out of here like, you know, nothing. Like I said, their timing, their affinity with the float was something that I didn't recognise or realise at the time, but now I'm here doing it as an older bloke. You know, they could see just the subtlest little pull on their floats. They knew when to hit it, even though I would say, hit it. That was good. It's good to be back doing it. You know, you can go out and catch your big mackerels and your tunas and all this kind of stuff, and whack out your brag boards and, you know, whatever. Sometimes it's good just to return back to your roots. Got a bite. Right, here we go. Yep. Ooh, a bit better fish. Yeah, yeah. Fun, that little one? Yeah, good fun, mate, yeah. Good fun watching the bloke go, what? Dropped him. Get a bite now. Just mouthing it, just playing with it. Not serious yet. Yeah, is it serious? There we go. Oh, he's a good fish. He's a good fish. I'm going to let him tire out good. Yeah, is it serious? There we go. He's a good fish. Fish this one. I'll let him tire out good. It's only getting bigger. Best fish yet, this one. Get that way, lift him up. Good fish. Thumper. He's a good one. Good size blackfish. Great way to finish out the session. Forgot how much I bloody enjoy these fish, catching them. Look at that. Lovely black stripes down them. A real dark sort of steely grey, black colour sometimes. But good fun. Good eating if you bleed them out. But just a fish that requires a certain degree of art to catch. You can see the red vegetarian teeth there. Beautiful, beautiful markings on it. Now he's actually swallowed that hook down, so he's going to cut him off there. Cutting off, and beautiful. I mean, hopefully you can see that. They almost got like a metallic purple sheen on them at times. So there you have it, guys. Just because you can't get outside or up your favourite creek or whatever, there's always something going on. See you, mate. Thank you for that. That's a fish.